What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to East Coast Gridiron. This is the weekly NFL recap. Let's just get right into it. First game, we have Jaguars at Saints. The Jaguars won this one 31-24. Trevor Lawrence, with a messed up knee, went 20 of 29 for 204 yards and 1 touchdown, while Derek Carr went 33 of 55 for 301 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Trevor Lawrence was actually the leading rusher for the Jaguars with 8 carries for 59 yards, while Alvin Kamara had 17 carries and 62 yards for the Saints. Christian Kirk had himself a good game with 6 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown, while Alvin Kamara led the Saints in receiving as well with 12 catches for 91 yards. This game came down to the final play of the game. It was 31-24. In the red zone, Derek Carr threw a go-ahead touchdown pass in the left corner of the end zone to Foster Moreau. Dropped. It was an absolute heartbreaker. Jaguars win 31-24. Next up, we have an upset. The Atlanta Falcons go into Tampa Bay and win 16-13. Desmond Ridder, 19 of 25 for 250 yards and a few fumbles. Baker Mayfield, 27 of 42 for 275 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Tyler Algier was the leading rusher for the Falcons with 21 carries for 59 yards, while Rachaad White was the leading rusher for the Bucks with 13 carries for 34 yards. This was a very close defensive game. It came down to the last few drives. This was one of the better games last week. If you're into defense, this was a great game. The Falcons win it 16-13. Next up, we got the Raiders versus Bears. The Bears win 30-12. Tyson Bagent, the Bears starting quarterback this week, 21 of 29 for 162 yards and 1 touchdown. He is a rookie. For the Raiders, their leading passer was Brian Hoyer, who was the starter. He went 17 of 32 for 129 yards and 2 interceptions. The rushing leader for the Raiders, this is despicable, 11 carries and 35 yards for Josh Jacobs, while the leading rusher for the Bears was Deontay Foreman with 16 carries, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Shout out to my guy Dante. He loves Deontay Foreman. Davante Adams had 7 catches, 57 yards for the Raiders, while DJ Moore had 8 catches and 54 yards. Yeah, this was the true definition of a blowout. The Bears outplayed them in every single category. Next up, we got a very surprising game of the week, not in terms of the team that won, but in terms of the score. Browns-Colts. Browns win this one 39-38 on the final play of the game. This was crazy. PJ Walker, Philip Walker, whatever you want to call him, 15 of 32, 178 yards, 1 interception. Gardner Minshew, 15 of 23, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. While Jerome Ford, my guy out of Cincinnati, had 11 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown, while Jonathan Taylor had 18 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Downs was the leading receiver for the Colts with 5 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. So, you know, man, total yards, the Colts had 456. They had more passing yards than the Browns, obviously. They had more rushing yards, and they had 6.8 yards per play. So they outplayed the Browns. It's just the Browns found a way to pull it out. 39-38. Next, we got the Commanders and Giants. Tyrod Taylor and the Giants pull away with this one 14-7. Sam Howell went 22 of 42 for 249 and an interception, while Tyrod Taylor went 18 of 29 for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Chris Rodriguez Jr. was the leading back for the Commanders' offense with 7 carries for 31 yards, while Saquon Barkley for the Giants had 21 carries and 77 yards. Darren Waller, 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Terry McLaurin, 6 receptions, 90 yards. The Giants had 356 total yards of offense, 250 passing yards, 106 rushing yards, 5.5 yards per play, all categories outperforming the Commanders. Giants win 14-7 in a low-scoring defensive game. Next up, we got a blowout. The Ravens beat the Lions 38-6. Both teams now at 5-2. Lamar Jackson had himself a game with went 21 of 27 for 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions offense had 13 catches and 102 yards. The Ravens offense had 503 yards. Total offense, 357 yards of passing. 146 rushing and 9.1 yards per play. Once again, every category outperforming Detroit, and they win 38-6. Next up, we got the Bills versus New England Patriots. The Patriots pull off one of the biggest, if not the biggest, upset of the season. They win 29-25 to move to 2-5. The Bills move to 4-3. Josh Allen went 27 of 41 for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, while Mac Jones went 25 of 30 for 272 and 2 touchdowns. Ramondre Stevenson had 9 carries, 34 yards, which led the Patriots offense. The leading receiver for the Pats was Kendrick Bourne, 6 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Patriots win it 29-25. Next up, we got the Cardinals and Seahawks. I was very close on this one. I think I said the Seahawks would win 27-10. They win 20-10. Cardinals move to 1-6. Seahawks move to 4-2. Joshua Dobbs went 19 of 33, 146 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. While Geno Smith went 18 of 24 for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And the Seahawks win it 20-10. Next up, we got the Steelers and Rams. Another game that I was wrong about. Big upset. The Steelers go into LA and win 24-17. Kenny Pickett went 19 of 25, 230 yards. Matt Stafford 14 of 29, 231 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The leading rusher for the Rams offense was Royce Freeman. 12 carries, 66 yards, and their leading receiver was Puka Nacua with 8 catches for 154 yards. George Pickens had himself a good game as well. 5 catches, 107 yards. Next up, we got the Chargers at Chiefs. I mean, just another bad game, honestly. It was 24-31. It was 24-17. And then it ended 31-17. The Chargers moved to 2-4. The Chiefs moved to 6-1. Patrick Mahomes went 32 of 42 for 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. While Justin Herbert went 17 of 30 for 259 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Joshua Kelly led the game with rushing yards, 7 carries, 75 yards, while Travis Kelce had 12 catches for 179 yards and 1 touchdown. Chiefs win it 31-17. Next up, we got the Packers and Broncos in what our guy Hayden likes to call the Bo Nix Bowl. Broncos win this one 19-17. Jordan Love threw one of the stupidest interceptions I've ever seen in my entire existence. Jordan Love, speaking of him, went 21 of 31 for 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, while our boy Russell Wilson went 20 of 29 for 194 yards and 1 touchdown. Javonte Williams, the UNC prospect, 15 carries, 82 yards, while A.J. Dillon had 15 carries for 61 yards. And the Broncos win a defensive game 19-17. Next up, we got the Dolphins at Eagles, one of the biggest disappointments of the year. Eagles win this one 31-17. They just played better on all cylinders when it came to the second half. Tua Tagovailoa, 23 of 32, 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jalen Hurts, 23 of 31, 279 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. DeAndre Swift, 15 carries, 62 yards. Raheem Mostert, 9 carries, 45 yards. Here we go. A.J. Brown, 10 catches, 137 yards and a touchdown, while Tyreek Hill led the Dolphins in receiving with 11 catches, 88 yards and a touchdown. Let's see here. Total yards, the Eagles had 355, while the Dolphins had 244. They had 5.2 yards per play, while the Dolphins had 5.1 yards per play. Next up, the final game of this slate, we're going to be going over, we got the 49ers and Vikings, the biggest upset of the season so far. Vikings coming in at 2-4, San Francisco coming in at 5-1. The Vikings find a way to win it 22-17. Brock Purdy went 21 of 30 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, while Kirk Cousins went 35 of 45 for 370 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. By the way, Vikings fans, I'm really tired of hearing you guys say you want to get rid of Kirk Cousins when he's literally the second best player on your roster. Christian McCaffrey, 15 carries, 45 yards, 1 touchdown. Alexander Mattison, 8 carries, 39 yards. Jordan Addison had himself a great game. 7 catches, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Vikings had 452 total yards and 6.8 yards per play, while the Niners had 6.1 yards per play. So that's going to do it for the weekly NFL recap. If you like what you saw, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, share this out, turn on the notification bell. We appreciate you watching. We're out of here. Peace.